Breaking news, bro. The CFP then came out.
Yeah.
And here are the 12 that made it. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. 3, Georgia. 4, Texas Tech. Number 5, Oregon. 6, Ole Miss. 7, Texas A&M. 8, Oklahoma. 9, Alabama. 10, Notre Dame. 11, BYU. 12, Miami. 13, Texas.
Tulane at Oregon is crazy because I think the Tulane's coach is leaving, and I wonder if he's going to coach that game.
Wait, what you looking at?
I'm looking at the I just saw the update despite coaching changes. It says oh yeah. It says the I'm looking at I think it's ESPN. It says that Ole Miss wasn't penalized because Lane Kiffin, who we'll get into, is leaving to go to LSU. And it's saying, yeah. They talk about who will be ranked. So it says Ohio State and Indiana remains the top two seeds, followed by Georgia at number three, Texas Tech at four, Oregon at five, right? Um, Texas A&M fell four spots after suffering their first loss behind that whipping. Um, and then they got BYU, Miami. But I'm looking at the matchups, right?
Mm-hmm.
And um, that's what I'm mainly trying to see. Actually, you know what? Let me see something here, bro. Because
Listen,
that
I,
popped
I
up
I
on my stuff
respect
also.
I respect the list. I'm not even going to like jump up and scream because my boys didn't make it. I will say I'm proud that the fact that like, dang, we was just like right outside the window, bro.
Hmm.
Because
Okay,
there's
so get this. Okay, so let's talk about we can dive into this. So there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that that's involved in this though, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I think that you reached out to me and said, "Hey, what do you think about Texas being included into the CFP?"
Yeah.
Right? My thought is this. I thought that I thought that while we lost to Ohio State and we lost to Georgia, which that's still heartbreaking. Florida is hard to explain. And with that being said, I I I try to when you asked me that, I wanted to remove my bias because I used to always see before we joined the Big 12, there would always be some not Big 12, the SEC. I would see some SEC team with 2 or 3 losses and everything like that. And I'd be like, you know what though, man, like you are you giving them that just because they're in the SEC and supposedly the SEC is the tougher competition, it's the creme de la creme. And I used to almost think like, no, there was some Big 12 teams when we were there who I thought that was deserving and everything like that. And the nod always came at the caveat that they're tougher competition. So now that Texas is in that same position that or we could have been in that same position, it's like I wanted to remove my bias as a Texas fan and say we weren't as deserving as maybe some other teams. But I'm like you said, I'm not mad at the teams that made it. I just I
This
think that some of the teams that made it, if we suited up against them, I think that we would win. I would I
okay.
would be I would feel confident.
Now here is my counter argument to that. You said all of that to say the SEC normally gets the nod, whoop de whoop de whoop. Well, guess what? We didn't complain. We stopped complaining about it and we joined the SEC. So now we should be a part of that conversation. See what this is going to do right here. And Sark said it. This is going to make people protect their schedules. So the Texas versus Ohio states aren't going to happen anymore. We're not going to have them games anymore until we get to the
Mm,
playoffs because
yeah.
they're penalized because okay, Take the Ohio State game off of there, right? And we only have the 2 losses. Are we having this conversation?
I think so. It's
Why so?
Florida, bro. You can't. I can't.
Hold on. You're saying that Florida, though. Texas is the first team since 2019 to beat 3 ranked teams in the same year. They're the only team to do that. So what I'm saying is this, right? You got other 10-2 teams that made the playoffs. Everybody else, there's only 2 undefeated teams. Ohio
Mhm.
State and Indiana. Everybody else is 11-1, and then there's 3 teams I think that are 10-2. So again, if Texas beat the number 3 team in this in the college in the rankings with Texas A&M, they beat them when they were undefeated. They pushed them out of the SEC championship, and they bumped them down now to number 7. Plus, they beat Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's number 8. So I'm saying, if you take the Ohio State game off of there, we are not having this conversation because we beat
I
Oklahoma and we beat Texas A&M.
I get that. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it does look some kind of way that 2 of the teams that are playing that are in the CFP we beat. And I think that for the most part, I would be comfortable in saying I felt very comfortable in those games. Like I went into the A&M game thinking we beat A&M. I don't keep up with A&M. I don't keep up with A&M since they hightailed it out of the Big 12 like that. But I also think that A&M's to me, they're like Penn State. They're like one of those teams where I think every few years they put together a big roster and they never quite get over the hump. So that's another story for another day. But I do get the point that, yeah, you got 2 teams that are in there that we beat. I get it, right? But A&M, you're talking about just A&M specifically. Yeah, they lost to us. But if I'm not mistaken, I think A&M they lost to us while we were ranked, right? I mean, like I said, I can't get over if I'm just again, I would love nothing more than to see someone put Texas in there. But if I'm removing my own personal bias, I can't get over Florida. If I'm an outsider, now
No,
you
I understand
can't
that. You got
convince me of
Florida,
anything about that.
and you got 2 overtime wins in Kentucky and Mississippi State.
Mississippi. And
Understood.
listen, we look like we went down to the wire with 2 teams that are almost perennial cellar dwellers,
Right.
right?
But we won. If we would have lost, be no discussion. But we won. We
True.
found a way to win when we played bad. That's what good teams are
Yeah.
supposed to do. But what I'm saying is this though, because it's you lost to Georgia, who is a powerhouse, and you lost to Ohio State. But Ohio State is not a conference game. First game of the season. Number 1 team in the conference. We are the only team that was within 1 touchdown of the game. Everybody else getting blowed out by Ohio State.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, yes, I'm a Texas fan, but bias or not, the facts is the facts. And
And if it was not Texas and this was Mississippi State, I don't know that we would be having that's my point. Like when I say I'm trying to remove my bias,
we
I
don't.
wouldn't be having this argument for Mississippi State.
But here's the thing. What I'm saying is this: Sark started making his appearances on college shows. That's why the discussion was happening about should
Sure, I
Texas. So
get it.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about us having an internal conversation because we're Texas fans. I'm saying the national conversation had been
Yeah.
should Texas be in. So that's where I'm saying. So I'm saying if you remove the Ohio State loss, yes, you're gonna still bring up Florida. You're gonna because that's a part of the losses. But what I'm saying is if
We
you
have
took the so what I'm saying is that's what Sark was holding on to is like, listen, you're not what you're basically telling teams now is that it doesn't matter. We just care about the wins because what you're saying is it doesn't matter that I go to try to beat a team. I'm not gonna go play the high school Kent State. I'm not gonna play Louisiana Tech. I'm not gonna do none of those. I'm gonna go and try to play Ohio State in the first game of the season. And nah, You lost, so you got 3 losses now. So that's what I'm saying. All that's gonna do is just change how coaches make their schedules. They gonna fluff it up, and then
Right. I feel you, but 3 losses is a lot of losses when you're comparing it to teams that have lost 2 and 1 games.
right. But
Regardless of who you
so
beat,
that's
regardless of
you're
listen, it
saying
wouldn't
you're
matter
saying
to me. I see what you're saying, and I'm telling I'm echoing it. It doesn't matter to me. Listen, it doesn't matter to me personally if Texas or anybody, if Texas beat Indiana, Ohio State, and Georgia, and then they lost to Florida and they lost to Mississippi State, just hypothetically, they lost to Florida and Mississippi State decisively, right? And you struggle with Kentucky. Like it doesn't matter to me that if you get if you get 3 losses, it doesn't matter to me who you beat. And if there are other teams that have fewer losses that also have their own case, right, to be made. It's just as a Texas fan, I'm inclined to want to say that my team has 3 wins against top
yeah,
10
but see,
teams.
you and I are
But
arguing
it
two
doesn't matter
different.
to me if you lost three, if you beat three, all the top 3 teams. It doesn't matter to me.
See, and that's what I'm saying. We're arguing 2 different points because you're saying it doesn't matter to you. I'm saying all losses are not the same. That's what I'm saying, and that's
They're
what
not.
Sark is,
They're not.
and that's what Sark is saying. So what? So what? So all he is saying is that okay, because you guys are making this a precedent that you're saying that all losses are the same. Like it doesn't matter who you lost to; it just matters the number of losses. Then that's going to change the way people make their schedules. That's all
Fine.
I'm saying.
It's fine. But listen, Texas with 2 losses, we're having a different conversation then. Right. But that is my point. Texas losing to Georgia and Ohio State. That's one thing. But the minute that you add Florida in there,
All
it
right,
throws
and
the
I asked you
argument out of the
right,
way.
but I asked you another question though. What I asked you was take that same logic that you just said, remove the Ohio State, and it's just
No, you
losses.
can't
Oh
remove
no,
Ohio State.
no, what we are because I'm asking you a question. We're not saying
Okay.
what's happened has happened. I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you. You remove Ohio State, and we have 2 losses to just Florida and Georgia. Where are you at? That's what I'm
Okay.
asking you.
So that's okay. So to answer that question, to me, it would say if by saying removing the loss, meaning that we beat Ohio State. If we beat Ohio State 14-7, then you put Texas in. But if you tell me that the win replace Ohio State with Louisiana Monroe, I might
That's
answer differently. So yeah,
That's
so
what
you
I'm saying.
can't.
No, no,
So
no. I'm saying
mhm,
what I'm saying is not that we beat Ohio State. That's what I want you to focus on. Is I'm talking about the losses. Like you can put whoever you want to put in Ohio State spot. That's not Ohio State. I'm saying we played a regular a high school team like everybody else does in the beginning of the season. I'm just saying because you put so highly on the loss of Florida. That's what I'm focused on. So we
mhm.
lost to Georgia, we lost to Florida. Where would you want where do you still think we 13?
I gotta see. I gotta see. I gotta see what everybody else,
I'm
what the other teams,
I
these
can tell
teams
you.
out here. So no, 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 no. Listen, no, no, no. What I'm saying is that I then gotta see not just the record of the other teams, but who they played and who
So
they
that's what
beat.
I'm
Because
saying. So
listen,
listen,
no,
you
no,
just
no.
this is
It's
why I'm
like
asking you that question because you just sit up there and said you this is exactly why I asked you that question because you just got finished saying that it didn't matter if Texas would have beat Ohio State, Indiana, and Georgia, but if they still had 3 losses, that they wouldn't be
yes,
in it. Okay,
yes.
so you're saying that it's the number. So now, based upon what you said, now we're 10 and
Yes.
2, like 3 other teams in like 3 other teams in it. So where were we at now? All we doing is
So
we're
in
all
that case, so in that case, you got a better yes. So to me, you do have a better case. You do. It does make sense to me. Like this is my thing. That does in that case, you having 2 losses versus you having 3 losses matter to me. Because my thing is that you can't sit there and tell like, listen, it doesn't matter to me because at that point, it's like, yeah. So let's just say, yeah, our 3 losses are what they are now. But if you tell me that we had 2 losses right? And that extra win that wasn't a loss previously wasn't against a high quality team, even if it was mid, if it was a top like this, if that win that we had was against a top 25 team, yes, I think that we're in. But if you tell me that's against Louisiana Tech, then no, I don't think it's the same, right?
So
If there were other like
why are the losses the same? I mean, why are the losses the same to you then? Because again, who we lost to outside, like, hey, we already know everybody's gonna bring up Florida. We get that. We got that loss. I'm not even
who
telling
did,
you to remove that.
so
What I'm
but
saying
my
is
thing is
all
this,
losses to me aren't the same. That's the only thing
they
I'm saying.
they and I agree with you. That's why to me it's like my thing is this. When I'm looking at it, when I'm looking at a CFP contender, the
Mhm.
first thing I'm looking to see, who did you lose to, right? Who did you win? Who did you beat? Now, when you lost, how did you look in those losses? And when you won, how did you look in those wins? Right? That matters to me. So you're right. By that criteria, those four things, who did you beat? And how did you look when you beat them? Who did you lose to? And how did you look when you lose them? That means that all of your losses could very well be different. So all those losses aren't the same. But my thing is that if there's another team who has just as much of a compelling case, like I remember one season, Alabama got in with two losses when one team had one loss, right? And it was because Alabama had more wins, quality wins against other teams with them having the two losses.
Okay.
It
And
makes
so
sense.
everything you just said, everything you just said is helping my case because Texas, hold on, Texas lost to
Mhm.
Ohio State by one touchdown, the only team that even got close to Ohio State. Secondly, Texas is the only team since 2019 to beat three ranked teams. So all you sit up here just talking about
No,
all
no,
the
no, no, no. You got. I'm trying to remove my bias because dog,
it's
I'm
bro,
not
you
going to
keep
forget
bringing up
about.
the
Listen,
bias. We're talking about
no, no, no.
facts. We're
I get
talking
that, but
about
I'm saying though,
facts.
but with listen, but I can't listen. But based off of those criteria, again, who did you beat and who did you lose to?
Three ranked
How did
teams.
you look?
We lost.
No,
Okay,
okay,
so again,
that's
to answer
fine. That's fine.
your
Okay,
question,
okay,
we lost to
right,
Georgia, Ohio State. Those are two major ranked teams, right? And we lost to
right.
Florida. So Florida is the only loss that you got. Ugh. But what I'm saying is you can't erase the facts of the wins. The facts of the wins
Wins.
are
That's what I think about. How did you play? Listen, how did you play when you won? Mississippi State, Kentucky, bro. Even we played against like UTEP, and we didn't particularly look great against them. Like in Arches,
in the
the
beginning
follow
of the season. And so then we
yeah,
progressed. So let me ask you.
right.
So again,
It
Charles,
happened,
again,
though, right?
let just answer this one question and I'll let you get everything out. If I said that Texas is the only team since 2019 to beat three ranked teams, so how come all the other teams that have these 10-2 records or these 11-1 records, they don't have ranked, they don't have, they're not, they didn't beat ranked
Sure,
teams. So then
sure.
so how, that's what I'm saying. You were the one explaining to me why losses and wins matter. So if that's the case, it's not being biased about being a Texas fan about bringing in facts. So
No, it's not. It's not.
hold
It's
on.
but
So the
you
only
can't.
thing that the only thing that changed your opinion is the fact that we have three losses instead of two.
Yes, and that makes a difference because then it's like because again, it's who. So when you tell me, well, who was the win? If you tell me that the win is against, let's say if you say the win is against LSU, for example, right? They weren't like they weren't top five for the SEC or whatever. Though, if this against South Carolina, like you're telling me that it's an SEC team, then yes, that extra win looks better to me though, man. But at the same time, though, bro, it's like I can't like. Don't get me wrong. You beat you beat three top 10 teams when they were ranked. That's cool. But you also barely beat three other teams that were cellar dwellers. So it
But
just
you
to me
beat them.
looks like right. But how did you look when you beat them? Right. That matters to me though. When I'm picking the team, when I'm picking the CFP. How did you look when you beat these teams? If you have to go into overtime with Louisiana Monroe, yeah, Louisiana Lafayette, like what are we talking about? So I'm saying like that's not the same thing. Like let's say if you said that we had 2 wins and our 2 wins we went into overtime with goddamn Texas State, right? Then that's not cute to me. That doesn't mean that your two
Right,
wins.
but those weren't our wins. Just like how you said we ain't
But I'm saying
okay. So we
if we switch 3-2, if you said we didn't win 3, if you said we won 2 games, if we lost 2 games instead of 3, but the game that we won instead of lost was against Texas State, and we went into overtime, like that's not the same thing, though,
right,
bro. It's
but
not.
we went to overtime with just
Yeah,
2 teams, Kentucky and Mississippi State.
no, you're not. You're not. My point is that when we say the wins, all wins aren't equal, right? And if you're telling me that if in the scenario you presented that we lost 3 games this year, but what if we remove Ohio State? Now we got 2. Well, you got to tell me what did that win that we picked up? What did that look like, right? If
Right.
you're telling
So
me
so
that we
then
put
so even still, though, right? Even still, Ohio State isn't the team that we beat of the 3 ranked teams, right? So what I'm saying is this.
sure,
So okay, so if you so again, if you remove the Ohio State and we only lost 2, that still means we beat 3 ranked teams in the top 10, the only school to do it since 2019.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I get that. I
I'm
don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean it doesn't see. This is my thing. It's not that I don't think that Texas is capable. It's just I'm saying that yeah, we beat 3 teams, but yeah, we also struggled against 3 teams that aren't ranked, that weren't ranked. It's like so, and then we lost in those 3 games that we lost.
But it's
That
the
there was against
progression
us.
of the year, though, bruh. It's the progression of the
No, nah, man,
because we
nah,
we
bro,
started improving. Yes. What do you mean no? So it ain't
nah,
like we
man.
struggled with those teams at the end of the year. Every the games we got better. What are you talking about,
We struggled against the Kentucky and Mississippi. That was like 3 weeks ago.
Charles? That was in the middle of the year, bruh. What are you talking
Nah,
about?
bro.
What you
Nah,
mean
that was.
nah? What do you
I'm
mean
just saying.
nah?
Like, the thing is
Look,
that I'm trying.
we can pull it up. We ain't even got to argue about it. We can just pull it up. We can just pull it
I'm
up.
trying to remove my bias, bro,
It's
and
not
just
about
make the
being,
case
bro.
for
You
a
keep
team.
saying bias, and we talking facts.
I'm
And nothing I'm
saying
saying. I'm talking facts.
it
That's
was
all I'm
not.
talking about.
If you remove Texas from the scenario, the name, I
Okay,
would
here go
say
the
this.
record. Here go
Fellas,
the
how about
season.
this?
Here go the season right here. So Ohio State lost, right? San Jose, or I guess that's I don't know, SJSU, the
Sam,
38-7. UTEP,
come on, man.
27-10.
Come on, man.
SHSU 55-0. Then we got a bye week. Then we lose to Florida. We go to Oklahoma, beat them. Overtime win for Kentucky. Overtime win for Mississippi State. Right after that, here comes that ranked team. We played Vanderbilt, beat them. Right? Then we get another bye. We lose to Georgia. Then we come back and smack Arkansas and smack Texas A&M. So those were in the middle of the season, like I said.
It's not that. Listen, man. I'm just saying. If I'm an outsider looking in, I'm not that impressed by it, bro. If you
You're not
Georgia, if you're
impressed by a team that got better.
no, if you're Georgia, you're just like that's a regular year. This is my point. It's like that's my thing about it, though, bro. If you're LSU, you're thinking like that's just another year in the SEC. And this is again, if you remove Texas off of the conversation, I'm just saying that to some other team in the SEC, to Tennessee might just be like that's just a regular year, bro.
Right, but Tennessee didn't beat 3 ranked teams in a year. That's what I'm
No,
saying. None of the other 12 teams that made the CFP has beat 3 ranked teams this year. That's what I'm saying. That is a fact. That's not a Texas bias. That's a fact.
listen, man. I understand what you're saying, and that's cool. I'm just saying that to me, this is my thing. I get that. The beating the 3 ranked teams that means something,
That's what
but
I'm
you
saying.
also throw in a wet blanket when you lose 3 games, bro. It just does. It's not.
No, it's
That
not
means
a no, it's not a wet blanket. Charles, I use your criteria. That's why I allowed you to go first. You said that all losses are not the same. That's what you said. So if that's the
Right.
case, we lost to the top team in the country in the first week of our season, and we lost by 1 touchdown. Everybody else got dominated by them. So you said it's how you look when you play these teams, and you did all of that. And so
All of them. All of them.
okay,
Not just
so
the wins and not
right.
just them.
So
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 you
in
got to
the middle
explain.
of the
Okay, so
season, we went to 2 overtimes and then started blasting teams and lost one. We lost to Georgia.
okay, we didn't. If we're being honest though, bro, the score when you look, and this is what I'm saying, what a voter would say.
Mhm.
We beat Vanderbilt 31-34, bro. That wasn't exactly smacking.
It
Even
was
if
no,
you
no, no,
you
no,
didn't,
no,
even if you
no.
didn't watch the game, if you watch it, if you're looking at this, you're thinking like, all right, y'all won 31-34. So
And we
y'all won
smacked.
by a field goal.
Yeah, and we smacked them. Because if you watch the game, not the box score, then you know we smacked them. Because
Oh,
here we go. I was at that game.
oh no, bro. I'm just.
I mean,
I'm,
listen, this was just a conversation that the CFP should have had.
mm.
And like I said,
If the CFP had the conversation,
it's not a Texas bias. This is facts, and this is what this. Like I said, this was national news because our coach went to go fight for our spot, and I ain't mad at it.
feel you. Feel you, man. But I'm just saying that from somebody who's been in SEC country for a long time, bro, ain't nobody that impressed with the Vanderbilt but us, though, man.
I mean,
I'm only talking.
listen,
Listen,
they don't have to be impressed. They was ranked.
I'm only talking. And listen. I'm only just trying to speak from a non-Texas fan. It's like, bro, it's Vanderbilt. They typically are trash.
They
I like.
typically are, but they was ranked when we beat them. So they typically
Listen,
were. And
man.
guess what? And they saying this is typical SEC fashion, but y'all let Texas A&M go undefeated until we beat them. So I don't want to hear that. And then another ranked team, Oklahoma, we just got here 2 years ago, and Oklahoma was ranked. We beat them. So again, I ain't trying to hear none of that. You
I
could say
feel
that
what you're
this.
saying, twin, but that just it.
Well,
Look.
speaking of SEC, we had some more SEC controversy.
Yeah, yeah,
Lane
yeah, yeah,
Kiffin
yeah.
decided he's gonna take his talents to the Bayou.